It's very important that the sport and the governing body of a major sport like rugby talks to government all the time, because we have a lot of joint ambitions. We have a real role to play in the health of the country, and also our value set, I think, is something the government would also want to promote.
The fact that we've got good clubs now and performing well has inspired a new generation of fans, and I think that's what we need to capitalise on and build on at grassroots level, matching the grassroots activity with the elite performance of our national team and our professional clubs. So I think the foundations are really strong, the future looks incredibly bright, and I think along with the SRU, us in government, me as the Minister for Sport, I'm looking forward to working in partnership with the SRU to develop and build on that for future generations.
Well, I think as you've seen from the reception this evening, you've got MSPs here from all parts of the country, and I think a strong message from all of the speakers, including the Minister, was that the grassroots work that SRU and Scottish Rugby are doing, both in the boys' game, the men's game, and in the women's game, the girls' game, I think is bearing fruit. I think you're seeing that recognised the length and breadth of the country. That's not to say that there aren't challenges, but I think the investment that's gone in, the hard work that's gone in by very, very many people over a number of years now is starting to bear fruit, and hopefully we'll see that kick on in the years to come.
Well, we're trying very hard to make our sport the most inclusive sport in Scotland. We're trying to make sure that we all shapes and sizes, all genders. What we want to be is a sport that parents can safely take their kids to, and we also want to be a sport that has lots of health benefits. And I think it fits mostly with any decent government's objectives.
Yeah, well, we've got some real challenges in Scotland. We have challenges around obesity, challenges around inactivity, and that's where we need to work in partnership with sport, because sport has a reach that sometimes government, NHS, local authorities just doesn't have. And that's why it's really great to see there's been such a focus and dedication from rugby to get in about some of the communities that might not have been traditional rugby playing areas. It's also why we've been keen to support that with cashback money, the street rugby, and it's also great to see the development of other games as well, like the wheelchair rugby, and of course the successes of the Thebans as well. So we're seeing a real flourishing and blossoming, I think, of rugby across many different communities that we wouldn't have seen. And of course also we're seeing a fantastic growth in girls and women's rugby. That's been a clear focus from the SRU at that leadership level, and that's permeating its way through local clubs as well. So I think there's lots to be proud of, lots to celebrate tonight in the Parliament, and lots to build on as well, because clearly we have still, some way to go in terms of making sure that there's bigger participation figures. But I think we're going in the right way, and the SRU is to be congratulated for that effort.
There are, and a question I put to Gregor Townsend afterwards was about whether or not you're seeing girls, boys coming through from sort of non-traditional areas, non-traditional schools to play at a more serious and even professional level. That seems to be the case. I don't think anybody would suggest at the moment that we're by any means where we need to be, but nevertheless I think there are signs that investment at the grassroots level is starting to filter through, and therefore that we're starting to see rugby putting down roots in areas where traditionally it hasn't had that popularity, and hopefully we'll see that continue.
Oh, it's great. It's really important that Scotland keep winning. I think we all want to be back in blue with successes as well. But I was at the Australia game. I don't know if we'll get back, because that was the only one that they lost in the autumn series there. But certainly the determination, the doggedness, the fact that they are just a team that you have complete confidence in. When they come out, they're up for it, and you want them to do well, and you know they'll do well. That's brilliant to see. It's brilliant for getting people interested. It's great for the sport in terms of trying to get into areas that they might not have had traditional reach. But we need to make sure that we are disciplined and focused, that we can translate those inspirational performances into increased participation. I think we've got a bit to go, and that's not just for rugby, that's for sport and participation more generally. We've got some challenges in Scotland about getting our population active, so we need to work together. In a country of 5 million, we need to work with rugby, football, the whole host of governing bodies across the country that are doing fantastic work, and making sure that we can translate that interest into participation and activity more generally across our country. And I think then that will be good news, not just for the team to have that support, but good news for our country's health and well-being more generally.